Thank you, thank you. I probably would have forgotten that completely. So, yeah. Literally just copied everything from our main class into our new high-low class. It's a new package in its own class. And then as you can see, we can still use it by just running the play method on that class. All right, anyone give everybody a minute to do that? Make sure that they have or at least make sure you get set. Make sure you have your Yatzee program that you're doing the follow along with open and your main class is clean. Starting fresh again. Yeah, I'm also going to bring up my Yatzee plan of attack. I'll bring that back up. Anyone need another minute getting that switched over?
A little bit, yes.
No worries. And if you run any problems switching it over, let us know. We can take a look.
I'm sorry. I got to the part where you created it. You hit right click and then you did.
I right clicked on SRC, did new package, and then did com.hilo. And then on the hilo file, I did right click new Java class.
I see.
Package, Java class. These are the two we used.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you do the package on SRC.
An SRC, new package. And then I'm going to call this
com.hilo.
Hilo. Boom.
And I created a new hilo game inside there.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Really, the package probably would be called hilo game, but it's fine.
Hello.
Cliff, do we need to have a package for going forward with the Yatzee game, or if we have a separate Yatzee project, will that be sufficient?
That's fine too. Yep. Separate Yatzee package project is perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm doing this for those who just added it to their main class of their follow along. So if you did this, because if you did the follow along on Thursday, that's where I put my high-low game was in my Yatzee program in main. And so it was there. And so since we want to clean out main, you guys would lose your code. So I'm just showing everyone here how you can move that over for the time being. And then, yeah, if you want to make your own high-low project later and bring the die class over, you can definitely do that.
Why am I having issues here? I'm having issues. Can I share real quick?
Sharing. Yeah, I'm going to stop. Hold on. Go for it.
I'm doing something wrong. Sorry, I lagged behind a little bit there, and that's all it took for me to. Anyway, so I did what you said, right? And then I moved everything in the main class to high-low.
Yep.
But why is it saying that unknown class did win? Hold on.
Unknown class did win.
Yeah, you did make a method. You just have to under class right here.
Where is it?
So if you got public class, but you don't have underneath it. You don't have your method. You don't have a method stated.
Right. Remember, I made the play method in mine.
Oh.
Right. You want to see my code again?
Yes, please.
You could also do PSVM and then tab, and it automatically does it.
What that? I don't know if I like that.
Wait, what?
That sounds weird.
No, PSVM does the public. It does public static void main.
We don't want to main
that one. He just wants a regular method to run.
Let me see your play method.
Yes. You want to in the class. You do want to make this. Then you paste everything inside of play.
Ah.
Yep.
I see. So public static void play.
Yeah. You have all your code just sitting inside of a class, which doesn't work. A class
that
can't
makes
run
sense.
Code. Yep. Classes can only have fields and methods. No code. The methods can have code. It's weird to say classes don't have code, but
is that all the way at the top of the page?
Well, kind of. I have these as well. Yeah, there's a couple things as well. Yeah, the import statements. So we use scanner, we use the die class, and then this is just declaring that as part of the com high-low package.
Then I can just do high-low play, like you said, high-low dot play.
In the main class, yep, and that should run your program still.
Oop, I run it in debug mode. Dang it. Stop. Okay,
All good?
pretty nifty.
Cool. All right. So now now everyone should have a clean main class. You can continue following along. And that way, if you want to still play with your high-low game, you still have it there. So if you want to eventually at some point switch it to its own project, you're more than welcome to. But at the same time, as we continue to build out Yatzee, if there's any classes in the Yatzee game that you want to reuse for high-low, by keeping them in the same project, you can now reuse anything we build in Yatzee in high-low. So do be aware of that. That can be really useful there. Okay, got some BRBs coming in.
I still I don't get.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sergio.
Well, this is kind of like a side question. I still don't know why the com.hilo. It looks like a backwards website. Why is that?
It's common to do that because that means it's unique without being a website. So you can't have a website because you want to make sure it's a website, but this is a great way to make a unique project name. So it's just it's considered common practice now. Do you have to do it that way? No. But if I'm right, you can't make a package an actual website. I think that would cause syntax errors in the, for example, like similar NPM Maven, for example. So you can actually take any of your packages and you could upload them to Maven as a package that others could download to reuse your code. Same to NPM. You can make your own node package, upload it to NPM, and let people use those. So similar concept. But in this case, we're just doing the packages. And so this is the common naming syntax you see.
Yeah, your
That's all.
packages could be any name, anything you
Yeah.
really want to.
It
You
doesn't
can
even
have
do the com dot.
AAA and AAB underneath and AAC underneath.
Yeah.
But this is common. This is just common practice. The way
Yeah.
it's.
And not to mention the syntax, the dots is how you see the separation of the packages. So you can see how we have a com package folder, then company and high-low are inside the com folder. So
That makes sense.
com.company is src com company, com.high-low is com high-low. So see how they're both underneath the com folder. So that's the other reason with the syntax. So again, we're going to cover more packages after the dice games as we get close to the card games, because the card game is going to require more, a couple more complex classes. So we're going to do more with packaging. So, all right. So let's continue on with our Yatzee game. So let's take a look at our system here. So we have our dice class all good and set to go. So we can even highlight that green, say it's good. We have a die class. Let's build that cup class. We can actually, so our goal today is see, can we roll multiple
That
dice?
was my other question. I almost forgot. So if we do create a new one, we should copy over the die class.
Yep, you do need the die class for your high-low game. Yep.
Asking before.
Yep. That you will need. Cool. So the next class we're going to be building is the cup die, is the cup or hand class. So this is us being able to hold multiple dice and be able to roll multiple dice at the same time. So that's what we're shooting for here. We want to be able to hold multiple dice, and when we roll them, we want to roll all the dice, potentially. So let's build our cup or hand class. So here, we'll do a quick mini poll. I don't know why it has opened up a browser window for me to do this. So I can't just do this right here on the little pop-up thing that I have. Yeah, whatever.
Zoom can't be convenient. What are you thinking?
It's currently the most widely used meeting software. You'd think they would have something convenient there built into the app. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's see. And just kind of curious, see what if you guys do this. That in there. All right, launching. Go for it, people. We had a couple BRBs. So, well, no, I think we might be at halfway point already. So I'll still do a couple seconds. Yeah, we're at 2 left and we're over the halfway point for one of them. So there we go. We're just gonna kill it now because if you didn't vote, don't worry about it. One hands down. So cup 1, I was fascinated that dice actually did get 3 because here's the interesting thing with dice class. The dice class still needs a variable name to store the multiple dice. What are we gonna call that what's a good variable name for something that's going to store multiple dice or multiple dice?
Nice.
Dice, right? So now we're going to have a property called dice.dice. Sounds a bit annoying, right? So that's one of the things to keep in mind. That's why I put that in there as a trick item there. Just again, to see, and it's not a bad instinct, but just this is where I want to make sure I keep you guys that slight little adjustment. This is you guys holding the bat with your hands too far apart. Put them together. So would this be valid? Yes. No one's gonna get it. No one's gonna fault you for creating a dice class. Yeah, Keith got it. Hands together, right?
You can do the overlap like in golf.
There you go. Yep. Choke it up on the bat. I think that's what it goes to call it. Right? Choke it up. Choke up on the bat. Choke up. I think
Yep,
that's what the
choke
term
up.
of the that's what the terms of the my baseball coach used to tell me. Choke up on it, Cliff. Choke up. All right, feels weird, but fine.
I call it set.
What's it?
Call it dice with the set of dice.
Yeah, you call it dice set. Yeah, dice wouldn't is mostly for this case, just dice would be a weird or annoying name because then you're gonna be typing dice.dice. That's all. Usually don't want to name the class the same name as one of the fields. So if you're gonna have one of the fields are gonna have that name, try to think of a different name. Dice set would be better because then you get dice set.dice. That is definitely better. But, we'll go with cup today because it does fit with our game of Yahtzee. The downside for this is that this cup class would be very specific to Yahtzee and probably wouldn't be something we could carry on to other games unless the other games also had a cup. So we could reuse this class maybe in the Liar's Dice game. So be aware of that. Stop sharing. Kill that. Don't need this anymore. So let's go ahead and build our cup class. So back in company, you know, it doesn't really make sense. This would be great to call this Yahtzee, but it's okay. Java class. Let's call this cup. We're going to not ask again and hit cancel. So cup class. All right. Plan of attack. What's our first thing we want to build?
Die array.
What's that?
A die array.
Die array. All right. So we got die. So bring that in. And then we do an array. That'd be this, right?
And name it
Go on.
dice.
Yes. Now, do I want an array or do I want something else?
I go with this.
All right. Now, in this case, I guess you could make the argument to go for a die array because it's like we know we're going to always have 5 dice. But again, the downside to do arrays in Java versus lists is that they're easier to iterate through with lists and they're more adjustable. So if you wanted to, let's say, sort the dice, let's say you wanted to automatically sort the dice for the player, you could do that with a list much easier than you could with an array. With an array, you have to do a method of, what was the word I'm looking for? There's a concept. Let me show this quick. Ever heard of this challenge? So I'm gonna do this to make my life a little easier. I have a cup, or a square cup, and another square cup. This one, a little orange juice. This one's full of milk. I want to have where's my drawing? There it is. I want to get the milk into this cup, and I want the orange juice in this cup. How can I do that?
Get another cup.
Right? I need another
The
cup.
position of the cup.
Yeah. And what's that? Mike?
Change the position of the cups.
Just move them on the death table. That works.
It's like saying,
I was
like peanut
confused
butter
for a
jelly,
minute, then I was
peanut
like,
butter on the bottom only.
Yeah,
It's
just-
like, all right,
just
flip
move
the
it.
sandwich over.
But now, if I want to actually switch which cup holds which, I would need a third cup. So yeah, I would need to get another cup here. That's my orange cup, we'll say. And now I can move this. I would pour the orange juice into this cup, pour the milk into that cup, and then pour the orange into this cup. And now we got it. So we need what's called and this would be, what could we call this cup? What's this cup doing here?
Temp.
Right, this is a temporary cup, right? That we're just using for the purpose. And with an array, we would have to do something with this in Java. So with the Java, in order to sort things, we would need a temp system. Whereas, what am I thinking? In a list, I could, if I want to move something to the back of the list, I could very easily just remove it and then add it back in. And that will take it from where it is and put it at the back of the list. So you could see that maybe lists could be a little easier to sort depending on the scenario. So what I will clarify is that in Java, 9 times out of 10, you will use a list. 95% of the time you'll use a list. be ready that if you ever decide to use an array, to be asked the question, why did you use an array? And have a reason for it. Now, yes, saying, well, I know it's a static amount, that's fine, you win. That's your answer, that's fine. But just always be prepared for that. 9 times out of 10, you'll use a list because they have more capabilities, they have more power to them than arrays do. They're easy to use. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, if you use them in an array where you could use a list, I will never get angry with that. Like I said, I might just end up asking you, why do you use the list? I mean, why do you use an array? Die list. And I didn't import, and I typed that for some reason. Go. All right, so we have our dice list. Anything else we need for prop fields, or is that it? Let's look at our plan of attack. Is there anything else
I
in the
think
dice?
it's just the method of roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a roll method, right? All right. So we have a public. I'm not sure if there's anything I return, so let's do a void and do roll. All right. And what does our roll method want to do in our dice class, in our cup class?
We want to iterate through the list and roll each dice, each of the die.
That makes sense for everybody, right? We don't need to have the cup class actually do any sort of rolling methods or rolling logic. The each individual die in the dice list has its own roll method, right? So we can just do for die and dice die dot roll.
And we're not going to add a property to die to represent whether it's locked or not, right?
Not yet. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
This is where we would do the check, right?
Possibly, yeah. So that's something we'll definitely think about, like, ooh, maybe we want to roll only specific die or something like that. But again, start broad. We might, then we'll find our problems as we go through. Like I said, that's one of the things that I left purposely out of this. Yeah, we have our die and roll class. But we didn't think about, oh, we want to roll specific die. Right? We might have another roll method, an overloaded roll method that takes specific dice to roll, which dice we want to roll. Now, again, get the basics working first, and then realize, oh wait, I can't do anything with this. I need to be able to roll specific die in the cup, not all of them. Yeah, good realization there. Before we do that, there's still one more thing we need to do. What is that? Anyone
We have
know?
to add dice to the array.
Oh, yeah, we don't have any dice in our list, do I? Do we?
No.
So here's a question. Can I initialize a list of 5 die here, or should I do it in a constructor?
Well, I would do it in the constructor.
To put it simple, I could do it, but the syntax is really, really annoying.
Yeah.
It's like arrays as list. Yeah, you do arrays dot as list, and then we have to create a die array.
Oh,
New die array, and then new die. See where the annoyance is coming in now?
Oh God.
Sergio sees it, like, nope, don't do that.
I know.
And this
I'm
just
already
looks
lost.
gross. Arrays as list, new die array. Yeah. Inline
Constructor
list.
it is.
I wanted to show that inline lists are a pain. So very rarely are you ever going to initialize an array, a list inline. They are not any easier as arrays, and to do an inline list, you have to create an array. So I do not recommend it.
Well, Cliff, before we create the dice to add to the list, should we add something to the dice themselves? Like, because you're gonna want to hold a specific dice, like you were saying, wouldn't you add like a position number, like dice 1, dice 2? And
Well,
then
don't they
also like a
have that?
boolean, maybe a boolean like is held.
Hold on. But again, so are the dice being held, or is that a attribute of the Yatzee game and the cup class of the Yatzee cup?
I would say the die itself is being held.
Again, is the die
Because,
holding
like,
itself?
for me, if I didn't have a cup, I would just push it to the side and be like, those are held.
Right. That's you pushing it to the side, right? You decided to not roll that die again by not putting it in the cup. So the die itself isn't locking itself. At any point, you can accidentally hit the die and re-roll it technically, right? So the die is no way locking itself.
Well, I mean, with that type of thinking, that you would say it's not rolling itself either. You're rolling it.
But that's what's
Rolling
happening
is a
here.
method in the die class, right?
And technically that's what's happening here though. The cup class is triggering the roll class in each die. So we want to keep our die class very, very simple and only do what dice do because we want to be able to reuse that in other games.
Well,
And so, for
what I'm
example,
saying is like being rolled is something that's happening by the die. Even though the cup is initiating it,
yeah,
the die is still being rolled, just like
Mhm.
even though the player is initiating it, the die is still being held.
true. Again, before we get back to that part, before we get into how to do individual dice, let's make sure this system works.
Okay,
You're jumping ahead on us.
all right.
And again, for the main thing is I want to keep the die class very, very simple. Dice themselves are very, very simple. And I will be able to show you how in that way, when we bring the die class to other games, you don't have to worry about managing a hold method or a hold attribute. We don't have to manage that. And because, yeah, die aren't always locked in other games. But again, also, again, there's other ways of doing it. So don't think that that's a wrong way of doing it. There's just a certain way that, for me, again, separation concern and keeping things very, very simple. So die themselves, not in every single game do they lock. So even if I did want to do that, I would create a second, like a child class that would inherit from die that would have those extra features on it, if I wanted to put it in the die class. But again, a little ahead, stay with the constructor first. So let's initialize our dice list. Again, so public void, oh, not that, sorry. And just for the record, for some of you wondering, could I maybe say how many dice I want? Go for it. If you want to make a cup classic and take more than just 5 dice, you can go for that. But again, the default, we know that in Yahtzee, 5 dice. There's no change in that. That's how Yahtzee's played. You play it with 5 dice, no more, no less. So just like how, so if I tell anyone, hey, I want to play Yahtzee, you're going to go get 5 dice in a cup, we're going to play. So let's do, so how are we going to initialize 5 dice and add it to our die list? What's the easiest way to do that?
For loop.
Yeah, for loop, right? Anyway, anything repetitive, we should use a looping structure. We should never type out 5 lines of initializing dice and adding it to the list. I should not have to do dice.add die.
Would a while loop be a little cleaner to look at?
While what though? How would I use?
While dice dot size is less than 5.
That's an interesting approach. That way we don't have to manage another variable like I or something or a counter, right? Good idea there, actually. I actually like that. So yeah, dice dot size is less than 5. We can do dice dot add new 5. I actually like that idea. Yeah, that's actually an interesting approach. That's cool. That'll add us 5 dice into our dice list. Pretty cool. Anything else before we get in? Now, again, before we do anything, before we get into locking and selecting dice, part of the Yahtzee logic, is there anything else here to get this to work so we can actually test it? So we can think of.
Don't you need to be able to view the die?
Oh, yeah. If I always tried to view the dice, what's going to happen in this case?
Would we return the address?
Yes, we need some sort of display dice. So, yeah, I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to make anything fancy like some of the other people have because we don't have enough time in the videos and for class to do that. So, have fun with the fanciness. One thing I can show, I think there is this little interesting bit here, is that Unicode actually has die faces. So you could add to your die class a system that, depending on the value, to print one of these codes instead of printing out a giant die like some of you have. I know that's going to take away from some of you guys' fancy, which trust me, I love what you guys created with your larger dice. This thing will only display something the size of your characters in the terminal, so it's going to be fairly small. So happy with it, you guys. For those of you who can't really grasp your head around printing out these multi-lined dice, this could be something simpler to make it look a little nicer if you wanted to. And so just so you can see how you would print one, by the way. So U2680, if I remember how to do it now, just remember. Go back to main quick, just for fun of it. So I'll say it's slash. I don't know how to do it. Really should have pulled up my shortcut, my trick.
You need a, I forget which slash in front of the U. It's that slash in front of the U.
This one, U.
Yeah.
268. That's it. So you do slash, yep, slash U, escape character U, and then the unique character code. And now you'll see, play. We have our die, but yeah, look how tiny that thing is.
What the?
That thing is tiny. God dang it. Oh boy,
Yeah,
you,
look at
need to
that.
make that. You would need to change your terminal size. So we're not going with that.
I need a
Get
new
my
monitor for this.
God dang, I can barely see that.
If I got some dice I made in Notepad, if you want me to
There
print
you go. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll keep it simple for this one so we can save time in the video.
You can have
Those are tiny.
IntelliJ create a 2-string for you inside a die.
Really?
Yeah, if you go inside a die,
Oh God, I don't think I want to do that. Curious.
it doesn't look bad. All on Windows is all insert. I don't know what that would be for you if you use a Mac.
Yeah, it's not working. All right, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We'll make our own class for this. So again, die, we're just gonna die. We already have our get because face up value is public. We don't need a get value. It already has it. So we don't need a 2-string here. So we have just dot face up value. So we don't need that and it's public. All we're gonna do here is do public string.
Capital string.
I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna do string and
Good for the capital S.
right, thank you. One thing we're going to start doing moving forward is for a lot of these display items, we're very rarely going to actually do system outs inside of our classes. We usually want what's called an output class to do that. But for the moment, it's still fine to do them for the moment. We'll probably do that more there, but for the moment, I'm going to try to do more enforcement of less S outs in our classes, in our mini class, like die, cup, player. Certain ones, we're going to minimize some of our S outs we're doing. I'm going to do a lot more returning strings. So in this one, I do want to do a display. This way we can make sure it displays the cup in a nice formatted way. Could use 2-string, but this way I want to use something a little different to kind of justify that I'm printing it out for the end user. So 2-string usually means I want to print it out in a console for debugging purposes, where if I want to display something for a user, I usually say display what I want to display. So that's a common practice you'll see among developers. The 2-string method is meant for developer eyes, where for end user eyes, use display X, display Y. That makes sense? Cool. So we do return. Oh, actually, no, sorry, string output. Couple quotes. I'm going to do return output. Just make the method happy. And I want to construct our string of our dice. So what can I do? How do I do that? What do we need to do again?
Let's do a for in.
You can do another for in, right? Because we want every single die. We're not going to skip any. We're not going to break out early. So let's do another for in. Die in dice. Output equal. Face up value. And we'll add a space. All good? Cool.
And Cliff, in case you were interested in seeing what IntelliJ out gives you, I did put in the chat how to get to it.
Cool. I will take a look at. Yeah. In Slack, I'm guessing.
No, inside of Zoom.
Oh, I didn't get a ping for that for some reason. Weird.
It's like the 4th one.
Okay. Interesting. So that's something cool that's there. I will, again, like I've said with everyone, never use one of these. Make sure that whatever it generates, you learn from. And I would highly recommend actually that after you see what it generates, delete it and type it yourself once. Because again, when you get into the testings and you go to the actual interview, there's no guarantee you'll have IntelliJ. The testing uses HackerRank, so there's no generation tools at all. And in the interview, they may give you Eclipse. So you, while fully functional and completely able to do Java in, you won't have the same features that you're used to IntelliJ. So if you rely on IntelliJ to do your code for you, you'll then be, put it mildly, in Schitt's Creek. So definitely be careful with these kind of commands. We tend to try to avoid them. You want to get that practice of being able to do it without that. Now, once you have it down pat, feel free to use those to save time so you can make bigger projects. In the beginning, make sure you know how to do everything by hand if you need to, just in case you get put in a weird situation in your interview. I'm gonna do this, string output, I'm gonna get the face-up value for each one, and then I'm gonna do output. And if you really want to, you can even do dot trim. What does dot trim do for me?
Removes the leading and
Space.
Yeah. And why would I care to do that on this one?
You're gonna add empty space at the very end every time you add to it.
Yep, since I'm always adding it, I'm not checking to see if I'm on the last die. I'm gonna have an extra white space at the end of my print statement, so I can trim it off, make sure that I have a nice clean output. Look good. And is this important?
a very minor detail.
Exactly. Like those are those small things you can do during like an interview that can just show that you're aware of what you're creating, right? Those small little things you can do that can be, they can just be like, oh look, they pay attention. They're paying attention to small details. So these are little flares that I can show, that I like to show you guys, so that you can just keep those in your mind and try them out yourself. So now we have a cup. We have a way of building the cup. We can roll all 5 dice and we can see those dice. So let's see if this works, because this, if this doesn't work, we can't even worry about trying to pick individual dice to re-roll specific dice, right? That doesn't matter right now. If I can't even get the 5 dice to roll, I don't care what the hell I'm doing with rolling individual dice. So let's go to main. Let's go ahead and create a cup. So we're going to do cup. Roll. And let's go ahead and display it. Let's do F out. Cup dot display cup. Above it, let's roll it again. Let's make sure that we get a new value. I'm just gonna copy this. Yeah, what do you say we actually rolled a couple more times? There we go. We'll get 4 rolls out of it. See if it works. Oh, it doesn't like us.
No point. Ah, you're trying to get the size before it's ever initialized.
Oh, right. I'm dumb. I didn't do new list. I don't know why I didn't do that. And I know nobody caught me on that. New array list. Forgot that line on line 8. So new array list.
I was thinking about that. Like,
I put that in and I forgot to say something.
Yeah. For those of you who did kind of like, I wonder about that. Good catching that you at least thought of it. Yeah. And don't never be afraid to at least call it and like ask. Never be afraid to be like, doesn't that belong there? Yeah, you see, I can totally forget that stuff.
I took it away because I thought you were doing something else. So I was like, oh, all right, we're not doing that here.
I'm not doing that anymore. We're doing the shortcut method.
One hand, I get trust in the teacher, but on the other hand, teachers are human too. I appreciate the faith. Turn on my light. Too late. That's fine. Let's keep going. I'll get dark and it's fine. Right. So let's try that again. Fingers crossed. There we go. 1 3 4 4 5 4 2 3 6 2 3 3 6 3 3 2 and 3 2 4 4 2. I think this will be my best hand because that's the closest to a Yahtzee right now. But we can at least roll all 5 dice, right? Not bad. And now if I want to, so here's the thing. So yeah, we have a couple ways of throwing this on concept out there. Yes, we can come up with this concept of locking dice and locking them down. But really, locking a die in Yahtzee, when you lock a die, is it permanently locked?
No.
No. So if we create a locking system, at some point we have to make sure we can free that lock too, right? So now we have this extra behavior. In other words, what I really end up doing, and if I think about the game of Yahtzee, after I roll the dice, what I actually do in the game of Yahtzee is I just pick up the dice that I want to re-roll and put them back in the cup, right? So in a way, I'm selecting the dice I want to re-roll, correct? So couldn't I just say, you know what? I just want to re-roll a single die for the time being. I want to have the user be able to select one die and roll that one die, right? That's easy. I think it's easier for me to be able to say, can I pick a specific one of these 5 die and re-roll just that die? That sounds simple, right? So if I can do that, I'm pretty confident I can then upgrade to roll multiple die, right? So let's try making that one. Public void. Let's see, how can I pick a die in a list? How can I pick something in a list?
Get the get method. In a list,
You need to
right?
create a scanner for input.
Again, that's not what die cares about. If I want to pick a specific item out of this list, I'm in die. Whoops, wrong class. Sorry.
Oh. It's like, wow.
Didn't realize in the die class. I'm going to be in cup. My bad. So we're here to roll. So again, we have the dice class, a list of dice. And if I want to pick a specific item out of a list, what can I use?
The index.
Dice get.
Like, yeah, yes, that's the method, but I still need to get something, right? What do I need to get? So that's the method get. And then I think Mike said it. Or Matt, right? Matt said it. Okay. It's like I'm trying to look at my video, see who said it.
What did Matt say again?
Go ahead and say it again.
The index.
Get needs an index. And so an index is what data type?
Integer.
Int. Selection. We'll use a good variable name called selection. And then we'll do, all right, dice.get selection. I'm gonna get that selected dice. Roll. That look good? So now we can get a single die based on a number selection and roll that individual die. And we've overloaded it now. So we have a way of rolling all dice. We have no selection. We can roll a individual die when we have an individual number given to us. So let's test this out. Let's make sure we can do this. So I'm gonna roll all the dice once and print it. I'll then try a mycup.roll. Which die do we want to roll? Before, and anyone wondering why am I not using scanner or asking, before you involve an end user, make sure the system works by just hard coding it. So this is to make sure, can I re-roll that individual die by just giving it a number? Which die do we want to roll?
Considered unit testing, Cliff?
In a way, yeah. We're not actually creating any sort of actual tests that are going to continue later on, but this is me testing my code before I move forward as a way to know that I'm not coding a bunch of errors in my system. Yeah, this is definitely, these are practices you'll see in like unit testing or even test-driven development where you do small incremental steps. So Michael, which number? Somebody just give me a number.
0.
What was it? Here, 3. Someone said another number was kind of low. I couldn't hear it. So
I
I said
heard
0.
0.
We'll do 3.
I heard 0. Yeah, good. I'm glad I heard 0 and nobody said 5. Thank you. So yeah, that's something we do also want to keep in mind in our head. Let's see. Let's roll it. Let's see what we get.
You need a
And then we'll
semicolon.
yeah, semicolon. Thank you. Also, let's roll it a couple times because we've already known from previous experience that my luck will re-roll that number and it'll get the exact same number. Why did that put on the same line? That's fascinating. You know how my luck works. Why is that there? Okay, here we go. All right, we see we did get the 6 twice. We got 2, and then we re-rolled and got a 6. We re-rolled and got a 3. Re-rolled and got a 6. So again, everybody make sure that we notice that. Yeah, we said 3, but the 4th dice is getting picked. So what is that, by doing this way, what does that tell us about how we want to interact with our end user? Does that tell you anything on how we want to work with a everyday human?
You would have to change the number if you want them to choose 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want it to be 1 through 5, dice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because most humans, unless you're a developer, isn't going to think 0 through 4. They're going to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yep.
So let's implement that system. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's go ahead and do a scanner now. So we'll roll it, we'll print it. let's get rid of these. Back up, go here so we can create our own new stuff. We'll do a new scanner. Scanner. What do we give it again? Someone. Let's see, who do I want to call on? I haven't heard much from. Sergio, what do I put in here? Hey, you're the one who actually gave us the scanner last time, weren't you?
System in.
Yeah, I actually just think I remember you were the one who gave us the scanner last time. Remember that now. You like the scanner, right?
That's my thing.
Well, I ended up accidentally calling and I was like, hey, I know he knows it. Dang it. I called on Sergio thinking like, oh, I got to call on someone that might not know this. I'm like, wait, I literally called the person who told us how to do it last time. Dang it. All good. System.in. Yep. Yeah, that much of an impression on me. Sergio, I was like, Sergio, scanner. Yeah, he's good. All right, so we got the scanner. We roll it, we print it out, and let's ask for a single number. Let's ask which one they want to re-roll. So S out. Which oh, -5. Is that not a word? That word? Okay, re-roll dash. Fine. All right, they do string. Oh, actually, what are we going to get here?
You want to use an integer?
Yeah, probably use an integer, right? He was getting an index, so integer input. Equals scanner. Hey, look at that. We got next int, right?
Do we need to use the wrapper class of integer?
I was about to ask that. Why the
Dang
capital I?
it. Because someone actually said the word integer on me. Instead of saying the word int, I heard integer, and my brain's like, yes, spell out integer. All right, int input scanner next int. There we go. So we'll get that from it. And now we want to re-roll the number that was given to us. So what are we going to do?
Well, I'll let someone else answer.
Let's see. Who have I not heard from much yet here? Someone else hasn't spoken much. What am I typing here?
And you are missing a curly brace, by the way, before you try to run that code.
Dang it. Where am I missing it?
Bottom.
The
Right
main
there.
The main method at the end
Need
of
one
it.
at the bottom.
Bottom add one. Yeah.
Right here? Oh, wait, I'm missing curly
the
bracket.
main-
Oh, not a semicolon. I was looking for a semicolon. How did I get rid of that? When did I lose that? All right, fun. All right, let's see. Been not heard from much yet. Emilio, Jeremy, or Travis, one of you three. Maybe even, dang it. That's what I got. I'm trying to get these. Carlos, you could do it too. And I think you might know it. You just need to hear more voices. Most of you that I called out, by the way, are muted, so just be aware of that.
Would it be my cup dot roll input?
All right, anything else I want to do? Or is that it?
We need to add a number, don't we?
What do we want to add? Add or do you want to do some, what's that?
Oh, sure.
What are-
Why not?
Well, let's see. What's the user going to give us? What are the numbers that they might give us? If the user is behaving, so always be aware of that. So the user behaves. What other numbers are they going to give us?
Think of the index of your list.
Hold on. I want to think through it. So I want to think through the problem, not just give the answer. So what are the possible numbers? What's the possible input that the user behaving is going to give us? What are the numbers we asked for?
1 through 5.
1 through 5, right? Are those useful in our array?
Yeah.
What are the indexes of our array, though?
Some
0
0
through
through 4.
Computer index.
0 through 4. So how do we make sure that our 1 through 5 that our user gives us fits this range, though?
Subtracted by 1.
So Keith, you're right. We need to do something. We
Oh
need to
yeah, I did
subtract.
that. I went the wrong way.
We definitely needed to do something, but it wasn't adding. Yeah, good instinct that we needed to do something. You knew that. So good. We're getting there. Everyone's got this. So great syntax. We gotta make sure we get that differentiation. We have our users who count from 1 and programmers who count from 0. Kind of, again, we have positions of 0. So, so normal humans do not have a 0th position. This die is in the first position to a human, to a programmer. This die is in the 0th position. You got to remember that. So a lot of times when you're getting numbers from a user, you usually might have to potentially have to subtract 1 from it. Not every time, but usually. So let's see if this now works. I'm going to go ahead and display our cup again. Let's see. So we'll play, and which die are we re-rolling?
1.
All right. And we got a 2 in our first position. That look good? Let's do another one. Let's grab this stuff again. I'm actually gonna do this here. I'm gonna do a little bit different so I can copy it a little nicer for me.
You split your cup class to the right.
Sorry, what? Oh,
Yes.
right. I see what you're saying. Got it. There you go.
Thank you.
Also, I did it a little fast. So what I'm gonna do here is so I can make this, so I can copy this a little better. I'm gonna initialize int, but then set it on the next line so I can then copy this. I'm gonna put my declaration up at the top with everything else. Everyone can see what I just did here. So I put in input up here, and I changed the input for the scanner to be just assigning it. So all my variables are at the top, just kind of keeping that clean again. So I'm just cleaning up my main a little bit. So again, line 18, or not 18 one at a time, but I removed the int from the scanner line, the int, and moved in, did the declaration up here. So now I can just copy these 4 lines, sorry. Print and print. So you can do it again.
You only have to
Couple more
really
times.
initialize it once and you should be okay for the rest of them.
Well, that's it. I just need to initialize, but I just want to be able to copy
No,
that
I
a
mean, you
little
only
easier.
need to initialize this. Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see what you're doing. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
just making my life a little easier to copy, and that way.
No.
it's on top.
I forgot you need, yeah. No, I forget you still need the input line. I
Mhm.
face that.
I do need the initialized variable to take it. So yeah.
No, I know that, but when you were copying, I'm like, why is you copying the scanner line? You only need it once, but no, you actually need that line.
I want multiple inputs. Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't have to ask each time. I can just re-roll that dice multiple times.
Yeah.
So I did want to do that. Instead of asking each and every time, I don't need it. So I guess I could just remove. Yeah, what he's saying, so what Jim's saying is I could do this and this and just re-roll that same die 3 times. Let's do that first, actually. So which die do we want to re-roll in this scenario? Just give me a number.
The third one.
Third, all right. So you see we roll 4, 3, then 2. Now let's put these back. Again. 2 and 1, 1, 5. Ooh, which die do we want to re-roll here?
Oh, actually, the number 5. We want to keep the 3 1s.
Yeah, let's roll the last die. Got a 4. Which one now?
The first one.
Which one? All right. No, that got the same number, it looks like. Or if it didn't work. Do you want to try again to see if it works?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Wow. We actually almost got a Yatzee. Damn. We could actually roll more than one dice at a time. That actually might have worked out for us. Dang it. But now we can see we can actually roll a single die at a time. That's pretty useful, right? So now the next thing we need to figure out is how can I convert this to be able to roll multiple dice? Any ideas?
Well, I do, but I'm not going to say.
Yeah, not you. We saw your code. We know you already know how to do it. You built it.
I have a whole system that I could just like totally talk for like an hour on.
Yeah.
And I'd do it.
So let's think of it as a user standpoint. What could we want the user to be able to do to be able to roll multiple dice? They want to roll multiple dice. What we want to get from them?
Multiple inputs.
Multiple numbers, right? So I run it again. If I wanted to roll multiple dice, what would I type here as it's an intuitive thing that some of you might do if I wanted to roll more than one die?
A number, comma, space, a number, comma, space, a number.
You would actually be nice enough to put commas in.
That's Matt. He's nice.
I don't know, I'd probably do that, right?
Yeah,
Maybe at least put the spaces in so that they don't think I'm doing 125.
right.
Yeah, this looks like 125. That's not the die I want, but I would probably do this. I don't know if I'd do the
Yep.
commas.
Okay.
That's asking an end user to do too much, right?
That's fair,
So that makes sense, right? Do I need them to be in order, I guess?
No,
But at least we could always say, you know what, for the beginning, let's start and assume they'll be in order. And then we can always test to see if our solution can work in order and out of order. So there's always something we could look into as well. So for the moment, and again, that's something to keep in mind that I wanted to make sure you guys think about. Don't overcomplicate it in yourself right away. Don't think like, oh, do I have to handle both in order and out of order numbers? Don't worry about that. At first, be like, you know what, I'm going to create the simplest input that I can come up with that's most intuitive, 1, 2, 5, with spaces. So the numbers with spaces. I'm going to handle those. I'll say that they're in order right now because I have a perfect end user. I'll create my solution. And if it handles, then I'll see, you know what, can this solution that I came up with for handling in order numbers, can it also work with out of order numbers where they just start entering the numbers in a random order? Does it still work, right? Handle error checking later. Because if you know that the correct inputs make it work right, that way later on, when you start handling error checking, if it starts to not work normally, you know that it's your error checking that's broken and not your original logic. So that's one of those key things to keep in mind. Make the perfect input works first so you know your logic is sound. If you worry too much about error checking for users, your logic may not be correct right away. And so you might be trying to debug the error checking when it's your logic that's incorrect. So always start with the simplest inputs, because that's going to take the burden off your back. Instead of you trying to handle like, oh, evil users, they're going to enter characters, they're going to enter commas or semicolons, they're going to put dashes, they're going to put them in different orders, they're going to type out the word 1, 2, and 3. Don't worry about those things right away. Start with expecting to have a perfect user so that your logic is set up right. Once your logic is set up right, then you can handle annoying users. Sound good? Main thing is always to save yourself from those headaches, overburdening a simple solution. Keep KISS, remember? KISS your code, keep it super simple. And that's the PG version for some of you who are like, wait a minute, what? Go ahead, whoever wants to give the original version, go ahead and
Man, this acronyms.
Yeah. Coding has a lot of acronyms just to keep you on your toes, to make sure you got it. Yep. Dry, clean, KISS.
Dry kiss.
ABC. It's a dry kiss. It's a dry, clean kiss. And now we're losing people.
Horrible.
I think
There you go.
Is there a reason why your input is underlined, mine isn't? Input under scanner.
Not sure actually.
Why is it
Tell
not?
me why. Oh, because I'm highlighting it. Sorry. No, that's not. Why
Mine
is it
is
highlighted?
mine is not underlined. Yours is. So
I'm not sure why
I
actually.
don't know if I did something different, but no, I don't think.
I think those are like IDE settings because on my laptop it does that as well. It
Okay,
hovers and
all right.
shows you where it initializes.
It could also be a Mac versus PC,
Okay.
maybe. Who knows?
Well, it does it on my Windows PC as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what's causing it to do that.
Mine underlines once it's initialized, so I'm not sure if it's the same.
Maybe that could be it. I don't know. It's an interesting item. I really just kind of ignored it because it's not one of those colored lines. So it's usually like, oh, okay, whatever. They did just underline primitive types because I noticed that scanner on my comp isn't, but input is. So maybe it's primitive types. Because I also noticed over here, oh no, output over here is underlined.
See, my output is underlined though. Yeah, weird.
No.
All right.
Yeah, moving on.
Mysteries of the code.
Yeah, mysteries of the IDE. All right, so we got our input there. So yes, we want to be able to accept this. So and at the same time, so now we know what our string is, but also let's look at our cup class again and see, well, how can I what the heck did I just do? Okay, that's what I did. There we go. And over here, I put it back in here. Let's also create another overloaded roll method. Public void roll But now I want to accept multiple selections. So how could I accept multiple selections? That would be simple for the cup class. And again, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter where the input comes from. So here's something I want to make sure is very clear here. Actually, I'm curious what people say first before I give any more hints. So what could this item accept? If I want to accept multiple selections. What are some options?
It could be an overloaded to accept 2 integers or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Could do that, but that could get a little
Okay.
repetitive, right?
Right.
Yeah. Could do it, but again, that could just, yeah, repetitive is just annoying.
You could take a list of integers.
We could do a list of integers. What else?
Take a
Because-
string.
You know, we could take the string that we're getting from the input, the 1, 2, 5 here, but,
Yep.
and so that's what I was hoping to hear, both list and string. So again, I wanted to discuss the differences. So cup class, on the other hand, what could be really useful here is if we could take this cup class and bring it into any version of Yatzee, whether it's console-based or web-based, right? And so if it's web-based, it's not a guarantee we're going to get strings. We might actually get numbers because they might click on buttons, right? As we going to guarantee numbers. Whereas in a console, yeah, we're going to get a string because that's just how the system in works, right? So a really good thing to do with this cup class is it's not dealing with the input. It's not dealing with the cup class isn't talking to the end user, right? So the cup class should want to ask for its ideal data. And so what is cup class's ideal data? A string or a list of integers?
Well, at the moment, your code is only accepting integers, it's not accepting string.
True.
So-
Again, I don't know if that answers the question though. Again, so again, just thinking of a cup class with a roll method of rolling in a list. What could be the ideal data for this method to roll multiple dice?
I'd go
A
with-
string or a list of ints?
I go with the list because
Let's have some fun. We'll do another poll.
I like, yeah, I was gonna say I like string with this because commonly people will use a string for input.
Essentially, but again, we're not worrying about, again, how we're getting that input. How it's, the cup class doesn't care where the numbers come from, just that it gets what it wants, that it gets its selection, right? Let's see. I want to have fun
I
with
think
this.
that's the old poll, Cliff.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
gonna
just
say.
noticed that it relaunched the original. I need a new question. How do I do a new question? Where'd that thing go? Edit. Browser again. All right, here we go. Data or roll. And last thing I'll give for a hint on this, consider what would be the minimal amount of work for cup to have to perform. So ideal data means that the class needs to perform the minimal amount of work. Well, right, yeah. And could do thing. You know, I'll even have some interesting stuff. Nice, just for the fun of it. Yeah, we can do a little more. Let's do. Some strings.
or array.
Yeah, we could have done string. Wait, why does it look like it's doing the same one again? Dang it.
Weird. Well,
Dang it, stop that. Oh, right, I do this. That one. There we go. All right, now it's up.
Huh.
I'm gonna pick one I wouldn't pick. I want to skew the whole thing.
Fun. And I think I know which one you just picked, Keith.
No, I
Definitely
didn't
saw
pick.
one that popped
I
up.
haven't picked yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think you incentivized others to do the same now. Dang it. Well, no. I think we might have hit a, well, I'm not gonna say anything yet. 15 out of 16. I think we've hit it, and we've definitely hit a winner. List events. So I'm curious, was it the last thing I said, what's the minimal amount of work for cup to perform
That's it.
that triggered that over?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we could accept the
That's what I
string, and
thought
that's not
about.
a wrong thing. We could always make an overloaded method to do string as well. So that way the cup class can handle it. But an ideal data for anything, ideal, the perfect data for any method is the data that would require the least amount of effort for that method to do its action. So does that mean that's the only method we should do? No, you can definitely, of course, in your version of it, have a more complicated version where you accept a string. That's definitely allowed. but I wanted to get that concept of learning what a ideal data is. Ideal data for any method is the data that is the least amount of work for that method to do its work. Because we wanted to, what we could actually do instead is create a parse string method in our cup class. And so that way there's this one method that just rolls, that's just in charge of taking numbers and rolling the dice. And then if we do want, we have another method that can actually take a string of numbers and turn that into a list of integers. Does that make sense? That we have two methods, one in charge of handling strings and one in charge of just rolling numbers. And that's that idea. And that's really falls under that concept of separation of concern. Yeah, the roll method is just in charge of rolling stuff. It doesn't have to worry about separating strings, dealing with data. It just wants to roll multiple dice. That's all it wants to do. So, list
Integer.
tons. And I forgot in lists, what's the key about, what's the special thing about lists? Lists require what?
They don't accept primitive types.
Right, they require what? Has to be an object, right? And primitive types are not technically an object. So there is a trick question in interviews that you might get saying, why is Java not 100% object-oriented language? And you simply say they have primitive types. Because in a 100% object-oriented language, everything's an object, every single thing. Java technically has a couple things that are not an object. The primitive types are not objects. So, integer. All right, so what's my code? How do I want to handle this?
For loop.
For, what kind of for loop? A for, yeah, for in
For
or
int.
for, what's that? Yeah. We do in selection, right? In selections. So you don't want to skip any of the selections, do we? We want to touch every single selection in our integer list, right? Then what?
You just basically want to roll what's on 22.
Some of you might be thinking, oh, I can just do the same line, right? Dice.get, right? Well, take a look here. Does this word here seem familiar to us? This word selection, is that word familiar?
The parameter.
Couldn't
for
you
the
put
prior.
the roll method inside of that?
Yeah, watch this,
Yeah.
guys. Roll selection. So the overloaded selections method can use the more specific integer selection method in order to do its work. So instead of having to rewrite this line of code, I can just use that method. Fancy, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta get it to school from Keith. Yay. I like getting it to school from anybody, so.
Keith isn't a band, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, reusability. It's all about reusability. And that's really what we want to shoot for here. And that's one of these really cool patterns you might see in stuff. And it's a good, again, it's why it's good to kind of start with the simpler item. When we have the simpler item, our complex item can just use that simpler item again. So it saves us time, saves us separate effort, it makes things simpler. So now what we're going to do is we can go back to our main class for the moment, and we'll let main handle parsing for the moment, but then we might add this to our cup class. We'll see. For the moment, let's go ahead and get that input. So let's clear this out for a second. Where am I going to? Right over here. Nice. You want to re-roll. Nice, some little change up in the script, but select the dice you want to re-roll. So now we're going to create. So now we want multiple ints. So we can't, before I do anything, I want to do this again. Scanner.int. Will this work anymore? Oh. There we go. Is that still valid now? Can I put multiple numbers with a space? What?
No.
No, right? Yeah, it's only going to give me the next number, the very first number, right? So what do we need to do now?
I mean, I guess you could put multiple numbers, but then you have to try to figure out how to parse that integer out. But that would be a pain in the butt.
Very much. So what could we do?
Is it a line? Next line would work.
Yeah, we can do like next line or next, right? And just take it in as what data type then?
The string.
Take it in as a string instead of an int and do next. And so with strings though, if we have strings that have this right here with numbers separated by spaces, is there something we can do to turn that into a list? Do we have a method we can use?
Is it a split?
Does Java have a split method? Let's see. Looks like we might. 1 second, I think my wife is heating up water. And I'm about to get a whistle on the video, so 1 second. I'm gonna mute myself. That's gonna be loud. Making coffee probably. All right, all good. No, I gotta go. Did I never share? Did I actually share the results? I think I
No.
did. Oh, forgot I gotta hit stop and then share. So yeah, it won by a landslide. Sorry. Forgot to show that. I'm looking, I'm like, wait, why does it say share? I thought I did. So yeah, 11, 2, 1, 1. I am curious who picked the list dice because that's gonna be a difficult one to get. Not to say you couldn't try, but it's not gonna be easy. I'll tell you that. List string would also be interesting because we'd still have to parse it anyway. But yeah.
I was the one that picked dice. I don't think I understood the question on the poll.
No worries. That's part of the reason why I do these polls, to help make sure we understand items and understand the question. We walk through it. So cool. Stop sharing. Get to that now. Yeah, java.split. So we have a split string method in Java. Good. Let's see how it works. That's a different site.
Geeks for Geeks just changed their site.
You got a regex and a limit. How many times we want to do it? Let's look at a couple examples. I tend to go to the examples quick to see if I can understand it based on the example. And if I can't, then I read more. So it looks like I could just do character on a string. And then if we want to limit how many times it occurs, we can do that. Let's see, is it optional? Oh, 2 variants split. Yep, 2 variants. So most likely we might not need the limit. Let's find out. Let's go ahead here and do input split and see what we got. Yeah, look, it's an overload. So we don't need to give the limit because we don't want to limit how many times we split, right? We want to split as many times as there are spaces, right? We want to split on every single space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do string. Let's grab this one. And we'll give it a string. Jesus. Okay, there it goes. What does it return again? Let's see. Like string array. So it gives us a string array. Be aware of that. Not exactly what we want, but we can work with that, right? We'll probably work with that.
I thought.
What?
I thought we were gonna. For some reason, I thought we were gonna use a parse int there.
We might. Again, we're first splitting each of these numbers into individual and on their own. So we can't do parse int on this string by itself, right?
No.
Because scanner.next is going to give us the string 1, 2, 5, right? Can't do parse int on that yet, right?
Right.
But if we split it into an array of, if we split into a string array, we can probably do that there, couldn't we? So we not only going to get a string array input R. There you go, looks happy. So now we want to convert this. So the string array, in order for our system to work, needs to become a list of ints for our method. How can I do that next? Right now, our string array, this is going to turn our 1, 2, 5 into a array. 1, 2. At least that's our assumption. Let's run it quick to make sure this actually is working. So that's out, input array. Let's make sure this is working. I'll do the same numbers just to see it.
Oh, you got the addresser.
I wasn't actually expecting that.
Input R. Do you have to do input R dot something there?
Let's just do 0. Let's just do 0 and see if we get it. I thought that there was that the
Yeah, I don't
string
think
array
arrays
had
have
a method.
have a toString
I
that,
thought it did.
displays it next. Lists do.
Well, it did.
Hmm.
One's there.
Oh, there you go.
Like once
See
you convert it
the-
into a list, you'll be able to see it real nice.
I guess a string array. I guess arrays don't necessarily have a guaranteed output, a toString method. Dang it, that's annoying. 2, 3, 4. Oh, out of bounds. So wait, that's not. This doesn't seem to be doing what we want it to do. It didn't make a full array. So it's not splitting right.
Maybe the regex is a little off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wait,
I know to escape any white space character, it's is it it's a \s, I believe, inside of the string.
Let's try it.
Should get rid of those. It's just split on the white spaces.
Right? If not, I can always go to regex 101.
I tested it there, so
That's it over. Regex 101. This is how I do my regex. I don't remember regex ever. So we want 1, 2, 3. We want to highlight these empty spaces. So let's do S. And so \s. That seems to be triggering them. So we do need to, oh, it's the 2 forward slashes. That's what it is. That's what I did wrong. Bing. Nope, not that one. I want this one.
oh yeah, because in the regex they're already there. Got them.
And I still need the double quotes though.
I think you did have it right, Cliff, but I think you used the .next and it only grabbed the first input.
Really?
Not the next
you
line.
probably want next line.
Oh, let's find out. Good question there. I don't know why I hadn't done that yet. I usually do this. Yeah, check to make sure that this may not actually be the problem. It may have been that we weren't getting the input right. Let's find out.
Good
catch on that. Ooh, this might yell at me still. But let's see if we can at least get a printout first. Ooh, look at that.
No, what just happened?
Well, look, I print out the input here and I only got the number 1. I didn't get 1, 3, and 4. So we need next line, don't we? So it wasn't our split method that was wrong. It was our input that was wrong. So see, sometimes it's good to double check the previous stuff.
Boom.
There we go. No, I'm just curious if this actually worked now. 1, 2, 5.
Good
No,
catch.
still
That
didn't.
did
Okay.
it.
Good catch. You caught that? I didn't see the
Timer.
Timer did
Timer,
it.
nice. The quiet one comes out of nowhere. I like it. Good catch on that. Yeah, that's what's good. And this is why for me, system outs work great. We assumed that it had to be the regex because regex are evil and annoying and they're scary things. So we assumed that it was this thing that wasn't working right.
I
We
agree.
didn't even think to check this. So be aware that that can happen anytime. And it's good to double check your source, not just assume, hey, this is right. We know this is working. And that's what we could have spent a good amount of time trying to figure that out because we were just so confident in our input. So good stuff. I like that one. That was a good one to catch on. Yay. So that is getting us our string. So that now gives us our we want. So, you know, just to double check.
Yeah, I was gonna say we
2,
could get
do 3, and I'm gonna put a bunch of numbers in. Let's see. Oops, not there. 3, 2, 1, 7. Yeah. So wait, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, good. I'm glad I actually put in 4 numbers. I didn't realize I typed the 3 there. I thought I typed 2. All right. So that is getting us what we want now. Looks like we have a full input array. Oh, and actually, here's a better idea. Length. This will tell us we got the full item. We have 3 items in it. All right, good. So our splitter seems to be working correct. So now I want to convert our string array into a list of integers. Any theories on how we can do that?
Can we cast them as integers?
We can. Who said someone said we had as a method we could use. Was it Sergio who said it? How can we turn a string into an int?
Yeah, with the parseInt, right?
Yeah, we have a parseInt method. So we can definitely turn a string into an integer. But now we also got to put the items in the string array into a list. So how can we do that?
Oh, geez, Jeremy, sorry.
Well,
What?
you could pour in and parse it and add
In
it.
chat, Cliff, Zoom chat.
Ooh, what? Ah, dang it, I must have closed them. I hit it behind the videos. My bad.
Sorry, I had to go. I had
Oh,
to be
Jeremy.
up to drive.
Oh,
early.
geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I'm recording it, so you'll be fine. I'll put it up.
Thanks. See y'all.
See ya. It's 3 a.m. That's usually when I go to sleep.
Same. Trying to fix that, actually.
I've tried. It doesn't work. I've almost pretty much just accepted it now. Let's see. So, yeah, but we can iterate through a list. We can iterate through an array, right? We can iterate through an array, and on each string, we can then parse it and then add it to a list, can't we? We create a list of integers. And it didn't import this yet.
You just didn't give it a name.
Oh, yeah. Selections, right? That makes sense for us because this is what we're trying to get. This, once we have a list of integers, that's our selections thing that we want for our method. Let's see if we can do the for in our string. So let's do our input array, and you do string number and input array. Looks like it's happy with that. Doesn't seem to mind it. And this way we don't have to deal with indexes again. And so this is one of the main things, by the way, that I like to use for ins as much as I can, because now I don't have to deal with indexes. I don't have to keep typing the dot gets or the bracket notation, and I can just deal with each item as a very simply named variable. That's part of the reason why you see me a lot of times will try to favor the for ins versus your for loops and your other ones, because then I have to deal with bracket notation and dot gets and all those things. For this, I can simply do selections.add. And then what's the parseInt method, Sergio? How do I do it?
So you need to take the input r dot
We have
parse
a
in.
number. We have a number here. Yeah, so
Oh,
do is I
number.
do-
I'm sorry. Oh,
Do I do parseInt here, or how do I do it? String.parseInt?
I can't remember now.
Remember?
Integer.
Hold on. Let me see if
Which class has it? Let's see. Take a look at that. So it's the integer class that has the parseInt method. Int number.
Oh wow.
It was
Okay.
Amelia. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
Don't you need a -1 at the end too, or no?
Ah, good catch there. Did anyone understand what Emilio just said?
Yeah, to account for the index.
Go ahead, Keith. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, the index. Yeah.
Same thing we did last time, right? The minus
Yeah.
one, yeah. Because yeah, we're
What do
getting
you mean?
1
Let's
through
add
5.
one.
What's that? Yep, there we go. Add it. Yeah, subtract 1 from it so we can get our indexes, because right now we're getting 1 through 5. We want 0 through 4. So yep, and it's good to actually do it here. So it's already good and ready to go for our roll method. So let's go ahead and try it now. Let's go ahead and, now that we have a list of integers, my cup dot roll, and let's give it our selections. And let's see if this works. If this works, we can put this in a method in our cup class to parse the string. We play. Otherwise, I have to repeat this every single time I ask the user. That's going to be annoying. This is definitely something I want to reuse. Let's do which dice do I want to reroll, people? I could try for a straight or for a Yahtzee. Anyone notice this? We have 2, 3, 4,
So-
5. We already have a small straight, so we can try for a large straight by getting a 1 or a 6, or I can go for a Yahtzee by rolling 2, 3, or 5. What do we want to shoot for?
Large straight.
Go for a Yahtzee.
I'll go for-
I say Yahtzee because it'll show the program works better.
There. Good
Oh
point.
my
yeah.
god, I was looking at my numbers and then I was gonna say like, oh, you should
So he was
reroll.
like, what's he talking about?
I was like, what the hell, man? Because I got a 3, 5, 4, 6, 5. I was like, I don't know what they're saying. Like,
Sorry, Sergio, I can't
30
see
is
your
like mine
numbers.
is really messed up.
did I not learn Yahtzee? I still don't know how to play Yahtzee.
Can we look at Sergio's code, please?
Yeah, I like the idea that, yeah, let's go for the Yahtzee just so you can see that our selections array works. We can do multiple items. As much as I would like to go for the large straight, let's test our code. That didn't look good. What happened? Oh no. Oh, never mind. I know what happened. No one know what I didn't do?
You're not
Output.
that's outing your
No, display
cup.
code.
Yep. We still are printing out these things right here, our input and our input array length. So that number 3 is not the result, by the way. Neither is the 1, 2, 5. So get rid of that, get rid of that. Get rid of our system outs. Let's add a display cup line. Give Sergio a second to update. So yeah, get rid of those other 2 S outs we had, the S out input and the S out input array.
Mhm.
And then and then add in the system out display cup.
My cup display. Display pop, I was gonna say.
Display cup. Yep. Let's try that again. Now let's select the dice we want to re-roll. Hey, let's go for that Yahtzee. 2 and 5. Here we go.
You got a full house.
I have a full house already, so but still, I'm gonna take the risk for the Yahtzee.
Still got a full house.
I got a full house again. But hey, look at that. The 2 rolled. So now here's where it's like, well, now we get to ask ourselves, yeah, is this something I should turn into a method? Well, is it likely that I might need to do this more than once? This parsing of a string, right? So I definitely need this to be a method. It definitely needs to be a method that I need to be able to parse this string. And so honestly, there's a couple options. In future classes, we're actually going to create a console class that we'll use to communicate with the user, and that's probably where these parsers will go there. For this one, we're just going to go ahead and throw this in the cup because the cup might be a benefit from having that method if it needs it. And so in cup class, we're going to create, Titus finally made it back in. Made it home finally. We're going to add in a utility method. So this will be public. I'm going to make this a static method because this one can just be run on the method itself, but no, never mind. Actually, I don't like that idea now that I think about it, because we can just call roll after we do it. So parse input string or parse selections. There we go. We call it parse selections. That's better. Parse selections. This will take a string. And all we're going to do here is we're going to take all this stuff here and bring it over. We're not going to bring the input in because we're still going to allow the main to talk to the user. Main's going to talk to our user, but the method is going to do all the conversion. So we'll take that, let's head back over to cup, and we'll put that in. And so now we have an option here. Our options are to either have parse selections run the roll selection method or return our list of selections. Anybody have an opinion on what we should do? Should parse selection trigger the roll, or should parse selection just return the selections as a list of integers?
I think we should be returning it. Have a method signature that's already taking a list.
And this is one that, again, this one, there is no wrong answer in this. This one definitely follows more of us. What's the practice we're trying to follow? Parse selections doesn't hint that it's going to actually roll, does it? Parse really kind of telling me that's going to change my input to a list of to something else. And so it sounds like I should be expecting to get something back, right? And so while yes, you definitely could have your parse selections trigger the roll selections, it's not going to be so intuitive if someone else comes in, right? They're not going to see that roll multiple, like, where am I rolling the multiple dice? When's that happening? And so this is where for the cleaner code, I'm gonna have this return the list events. So then we can send it to roll.
Not like till 3 a.m. but-
By the way, that's I don't know if I said it wrong, but I was saying to return the list of integers
I
because
think
we
that's what you're
do,
saying, yeah.
yeah, because we do have a method that will take that list eventually.
Yep. Return selections. Back to main. And instead of doing selections here, we're actually going to do my cup dot parse selections input. That look good?
Hold on, please.
No worries. I'm going to move the cup class over because I did that a little quick actually. So you can see the parse selection method again. There it is. So again, we took everything below the input scanner next line, line 20, everything below that, but not up to the mycup.roll. So everything in between. So
Okay.
we moved everything here. Parse selections. Anyone else who hasn't done it yet? I can also remove our, oh no, I'm not gonna do the comments. I'll keep them there for you guys.
Well, the problem is I have a 2 o'clock call and I'm not here. I'm definitely most likely gonna have to do a video for it. I'm not quite sure.
Someone's got some background noise. Who's talking to them?
I could do it from here without video, I guess, and that, but I probably would have to.
Not it. Try to slide up for a little bit.
Got it. All right. Anyone need a couple more seconds?
I think I have it now.
You need a couple more seconds to type this down. You're good. Ready to try it? Let's try it quick. 44534. Let's go for that Yahtzee. Full house. I should just be Jesus Christ. I keep getting full houses.
I almost got a Yatzee.
Dang. How many? 4 out of 5?
I got a
One-
full straight.
What happened?
66666.
Hey, you was a good Yahtzee too. What else? What
Devil.
was that?
I got 1 through 5.
Got a large straight. Nice. How's everyone else? Everything good? How we looking?
Mine didn't work, but
Want to take a look?
trying to figure out what I think I lost something in the when we cut and paste.
Want to take a look? You can help.
Yep.
Go for it. Share your screen. See what you're missing.
Missing that dot on top of the I.
I didn't even see his code yet. Oh wait, that was not real. Dot on top of the I. Nice. I was like, wait, what? What is that? It sounded technical. All right, so
when I ran it, I ended up with the same. It didn't swap out.
did you run it a second time to make sure that your luck just wasn't that lucky?
No, I
'Cause
didn't.
mathematically, that is possible.
Okay.
So add like
So I
2,
got-
3 dice. Yeah, let's do the 2, 3, and 4. Oh wait, I already know what you're doing. Never mind. You're not gonna work because I can tell. Oh wait, no, it did work.
That worked.
I just noticed that his parse selections method name is grayed out. Like it's not being used.
Weird.
It's not being used in
It
the
is.
cup.
It's right
I'm
here.
confused.
Yeah, you usually get the gray if it's not being used within the class.
Yes. Really? But
Yeah.
mine turns yellow when I use it because his display cup is lit up because he's using it. Oh wait, I can see it. Smart select tons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's spelt wrong.
So I'm not sure how it's working then, but for selections, there we go. And you have
Spell
one
it
of
right
these.
in the other one?
I don't know,
Yeah,
it's also
see,
spelled wrong there
He
too.
also spelled it like tons.
The heck?
But
Alright, so yeah, it seems to be working fine. So yeah, you just got unlucky then. And I don't know why yours isn't turning on.
Mine turns gray
That's-
too,
I
like
feel like
that.
mine does the same thing.
It's weird that it's still gray, even though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mine turns like that. Mine turns kind of gray if they're not being used.
Is mine still gray or not yellow? No,
No,
mine turned
if it's
yellow.
used, if it's used anywhere, it turns into, in his case, it would be green.
Not sure why yours isn't. That's weird.
That seems to be working.
Yeah, they're
Strange.
working. All
Yeah.
right, whatever. I don't know
All
why
right,
it's
I'll
grayed out,
keep-
but yeah, you're good.
keep
You
looking
just got
around at
a,
it.
you just got unlucky with your roll. You rolled the exact same two numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky or lucky. Who knows?
In the sense of thinking it was not working, unlucky. But in a sense of
Travis.
like just the odds, very lucky.
Maybe if you close out the program and just open the project up again, it'll,
Maybe, but
it might be a caching thing.
who knows? It's fine. It's technically fine though. It's not a big deal. It works. Can always deal with that later. But yeah, that's weird that it was grayed out. So, yeah, I totally expected it to not work then. But all right. Anybody else does not work? Are we good? Well, let's try something interesting here. Let's do this. I'm gonna get rid of that line now. I don't need that anymore. Let's do these. Second time, let's save and run it again. Let's see. 4, 5, 5, 2, 6, 5. Let's try again for the Yatzee. 3 and 4. 5, 5, 4, 1, 5. Wait, I technically just did a round of Yatzee, didn't I?
Yep.
Technically, this does do what the assignment wants. If I wanted to build just a Yahtzee thing that allows me to pick, to roll 3 times and pick dice between the second and third roll.
Yep.
So
You
this-
flip 100.
Yeah.
Don't even need a person to play.
What's that?
Don't even need a person to play.
Apparently not for the minimums that we need. So this could theoretically work. Now, what we're gonna do in the next class tomorrow is start adding in like a couple extra just methods, make it a little nicer and allow us to replay a couple times. So you can see the flow. And because this is, what's wrong with this code?
It's beautiful.
It's not what? It's beautiful. What's the-
Rerunnable, it only plays once.
What's that? Freddie?
It doesn't loop, it only plays once.
It only doesn't loop, it only plays once. But what else? It's
clean.
our code is not
Right?
not clean.
Not clean.
Very wet.
It's very it's very wet, right?
Very dirty.
Isn't wet good?
Very moist.
It's very moist, yes.
Yes, our code is not dry, is it? We are very much repeating ourselves, which is not what we want. I love that moist. You guys are crazy. That's great.
Oh, write everything twice. It's wet.
Yeah. Yep. So we want to remove, we want to dry up our code. I could argue it's fairly clean. I could argue that it's fairly clean, like it's very readable what's happening.
Oh,
We
yeah.
definitely want to, what's that?
Put that whole thing into a method and you'd be all set.
Yeah, which is something we might do tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to go ahead and move this into a Yahtzee class, most likely. Or yeah, what else we have in our plan of attack? Let's see. Oh, game. So we have a game class, turn class, and a player class. Well, again, we don't have turns or players, so we might not need this. For our version, we might put this in. We could end up doing, just to have some fun with it, just to really help out with the turn system for your Liar's Dice game, is we might actually still put this in, and what we'll do is we'll just total up the dice. So the goal of our fake Yahtzee is going to be get the highest valued dice roll. So just try for the highest numbers. And so that's what we're going to be doing with this to kind of make this a little better, because my goal is on Monday, we're going to start the Liar's Dice build for you guys. So you'll split into 2 teams. And again, you'll all be building your own, but you'll be pair programming. So or like group programming, mosh programming. So someone will be coding along, you guys will be coding alongside them to make on your own. So you have your own code too. So you can work outside of class, but you'll definitely be working together to help each other out. That makes sense? So you guys will be working during class, and what'll be interesting to see is having you guys challenge each other to build. So what'll happen in each class, I'll have a challenge for you guys to try to target for that end of class each day. So there'll be checkpoints we're going to try to hit for each class. I'll be able to adjust them based on how you guys are doing as a team. So the 2 teams, I would kind of adjust those things. what I might end up doing is having some of the advanced what I might end up doing actually is having cohort 11, some of you guys pull into your own group to do a more challenging version of the Yatzee program. Sorry, Liar's Dice. Well, actually, no, I don't know. Some of you guys may have not done Liar's Dice. I can't remember. But I might, or more just having you guys be moderators, not really being the leaders, if that makes sense. So, core 11 guys, because you guys should be able to do this without too much difficulty. I'll figure that out for next month again. Through this week, we'll figure that out. Challenge today? I guess what I can say, if you want to get to challenge yourself a little bit, either update. This one's going to be more optional, so I'm not too worried about it because nothing really challenging right now because we're getting close to the next stuff. We'll have a warm up tomorrow. I will have a warm up for you guys tomorrow, but for today, either take a stab at turning this into a game method. So a Yahtzee class. We're actually going to create a Yahtzee class just like we did with high roll and have a play method. So similar concept. So just moving this stuff over so that you can do that, or more important, a better one. After what you guys saw today with the high-low method, the high-low, what's the word I'm looking for? Programs from your classmates. Try updating your high-low a little bit, refactor it a bit, make it a little nicer. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Take some of the things we did today, see what you can do with your high-low class. What's good about packaging this stuff is you can even make, if you want to even try objectifying it a bit, you can actually make your own method, your own classes here in the high-low system. You could even reuse cup class a little bit. Well, no, because we did statically code it to 5 dice. So never mind that. We did make cup class very unusable in this one, unfortunately. But in our high-low thing, you could actually add methods, classes, break it up into methods. Have fun with that thing. That's going to be my recommended exercise for tomorrow.
You can overload the cup method to run high-low, right?
Good. You could definitely create an inherited cup class that overloads or overrides things. So you could make a high-low cup that overrides and stuff like that. So definitely you could look into. You might need to override almost a lot of it. Well, not a lot of it actually. You'd only need to override the constructor. Never mind. Yeah, you could totally do that. So that could be a challenge for someone. Build your own cup class for high-low to throw the 2 dice, or override your cup class by inheriting it. So building a high-low cup class, inherit from cup class, and then override the constructor to only do 2 dice, or for those of you who did varying dice, you could accept the die as an input. So some options there. Yeah, definitely some things you can do with that. But yeah, have fun with high-low, mess around with it, see what you can do with it. That would be my recommended exercise because there's more you can do with that. But feel free to, if you want to take that challenge, see if you can move this into a Yahtzee class and remove the repetition. Sound good? All right, I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Hey, can I show everyone the game that I made over the weekend?
Oh, right, you did make something, didn't you? I forgot that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So
Yeah,
if anyone wants to see.
If anyone wants to see, stay on.
Yeah,
If you
sure,
need to
Mike.
go, but
Go
go
for
for it. I thought it was pretty cool. So totally forgot about that.
Let me
Dragon's Lair.
Real quickly though, how do now that I pull this, because I want to work on this tomorrow at work. I work 7 to 3 in the morning. So can I push it now and it'll update in GitHub
Yes,
now?
and then you want
Okay.
to pull on your other computer. You do a command called git pull.
Okay. So right now I'm gonna git add and then commit and push.
Git add, git commit, git push.
Okay.
And then the other system, before you write a single line of code, you git pull.
Git pull. Okay.
Yep,
And that'll pull
down
whatever.
all the code.
Gotcha. All right. Just
That'll
wanted
pull
to
down
make
your
sure.
updates. Yeah, if you actually go on your other computer and hit the git status, it'll tell you that your master branch is behind by 1 commit.
I see. Okay.
It'll tell you that it's behind.
Cool.
You guys ready for this?
Very curious on this one.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready.
I'm so excited.
Here's what people think.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Someone is good with their ASCII art, by
Got
the way.
some ASCII art.
I
Yeah.
literally just opened a notepad and
got
get to
Lenny
work
face.
and then-
Yeah.
Except for the face I did find online. But yeah, it's just like I was thinking about what type of other game could I make with a random number generator, and this is what I came up with. So you just like pick a window to attack.
Yeah.
Boom. He's right there in the
Hostage
window. Right over there, you see him. 25 points.
I wish you had put X's on it so it looks like he's
I know
dead.
that's my next thing. So at first version I sent you, I just did like separate classes for each house.
Yeah.
But I've changed it now.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I changed it. I feel
It
and so I
feels
put
a little
Windows.
different.
Oh yeah, I put Windows instead, and set them to be empty, and then in the main class, if it's equal, then I change it to the face.
That's awesome.
God damn it,
That's
man.
freaking slick, man.
Yeah, this is something you guys can do. Just
I could do
have fun
something else
building
and like
something.
have it like X's or like show where he's shooting, and if he does get hit, like have his face change or something.
And then this is something really you should just even just put on Twitter. Be like, bored, coded a game.
I mean, how would I do that?
Yeah.
Would anyone be able to play it without
They would have
like an
to
ID?
clone it. Yeah, they'd have to clone it. But yeah, you're
need-
not publishing it, so yeah, they wouldn't be able to play it like
You need this
themselves
one.
if they're a developer,
Mike, look at the chat.
but- That's if they lose. If they get it,
I
they
can't
miss
see
it.
the chat right now.
The heck
You can see
is
it.
Probably, I don't know, you could probably Heroku this, but I'm not sure if they.
I don't know on that one. Yeah. There's also, oh, what am I thinking of? Correct. Judge O or something like that, or like there's
Go
some
to-
there are
go to
some
this-
code hold.
I
There's some
can't
like
see the
Go
chat
to
right
this
now. Oh, there it is.
yeah,
And if
there's
you
an
go to that
online
website,
link.
you can see all the Lenny faces.
There it
I
is.
like that one, Sergio.
Yeah, that one you can use if they miss.
And then you have all the Lenny faces in that website there. It's like a bunch of them. You can, flipping a table and all that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, they're great.
That's
What was I saying? So no, like I said, mostly it's just for you to announce to the world that you're building things so that other developers can, and really hiring people can see that you're doing stuff. It shows activity, it shows effort, and it shows that you're doing things outside of your class. So if it's a lot of you, like really, honestly, almost every day when you code that, when you do that code you do for the day and you push to GitHub, you should post to Twitter that GitHub link that you push to that day. So whenever you make your commit and you push that day, go to GitHub, go to Twitter, post on there, hey, this is what I did, type what you did, not why you did it. Don't post a tutorial. Don't link to any YouTube videos. Don't link to Mosh videos. Don't link to any sort of like actual instruction, like any sort of assignment. You want to make it seem like you're just doing code to do code. So just say, hey, practice creating an object, updated my high-low class, my high-low game, refactored my high-low game, and then shared the GitHub URL for that project. And that really just can give you a lot of eyes to yourself, especially when you go to the interview and they look at your GitHub and like, oh, these are just a bunch of them posting all their commits and all their Twitter and all their stuff. They're deep into code. And so it gives you that perception of being very, very, really just a involved developer. And it can give you that little extra edge over someone who just codes and doesn't really seem that passionate about it, I guess. You're kind of showing passion about it by sharing it online, posting on Twitter, and you can even use hashtags. We used to use, we probably want to restart eventually, like Silicon Road was one we used to do with RHODE. So Silicon Road. So we want to be like Silicon Valley with Silicon Road. Was it 100 days of code, 365 days of code, coding every day, always be coding. And you can also @career devs and we'll go in and like it for you. We'll like it for you if you add career devs, we'll try to go in and like it. You can also hashtag it career devs too. We'll get in there and we'll give you likes and you guys can share it. That way you have an incentive again to do something every day, to code something every day. And again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be just you cleaning something up, just 30 minutes of code, just posting it like, hey, wasn't able to do much, tweak this. It shows that pattern behavior. You'll see a lot of people doing it. Like just the hashtag 100 days of code is a very popularly used hashtag. It's a challenge about coding every day, at least 30 minutes or something like that for 100 days in a row. And you'll see them do like day one of hashtag 100 days of code. They'll type it like that. So that can be something that's gonna be really recommended. We might even have you guys do it for a little bit. It can be very beneficial for the interview. Like I said, when you share your Twitter, like you share your GitHub, you share your Twitter. And again, something we really what's great about doing that is you can get that that calendar on your GitHub to fill in nice and green. That can be awesome for an interview. And it's something we used to push a lot more. We're more focused on the code right now, but it's something we probably will bring back eventually because the companies love seeing that. So I am going to actually talk to them about bringing it back up. So.
Gabriel was a big advocate of that. He mentioned it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, I highly recommend starting that now. Start pushing every day. Get those green squares every day you can. Push something, even if it's small. All right. And that's, again, what's great about class is as long as you do the follow along with us, push what you did and put that out there. You can take what we did in class as your push for the day. I'm okay with that. But again, that only works though if you aren't if you don't have a clone of my project, if you did clone it, make sure you delete the Git and start from and make your own Git. So that way you can start from there. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't count. Forked repos that aren't yours do not count. And if you clone it, you can't push it because it tries to push it to my code and you don't have access to my code. All good? All right, I'm gonna push what I have, by the way, to GitHub so you guys have that. That way it's on the classroom for you guys. Terminal. Okay. V1. And we have version 1 is done. We technically do our little bit of Yatzee there. Push. All good. I'll stop the recording.